Okay.
I'm still more. There's more of me than there is of you.
I think they would probably happy.
I can move over a little bit.
The punters might be happy about that.
Maybe.
Maybe I need to move the actual camera.
The camera instead of the people. It's up to you. Oh, there you go. Yep. Ooh. Now I can shuffle back a little bit to my original position. You need marks on the floor.
But yeah, maybe that would be like a professional thing we could do, but we're not that professional, really.
This is the technical
Hey, mate,
difficulties podcast.
you're back.
I'm back.
Cheers. Welcome back. Howdy, Mai.
How's it going?
Oh. How did it happen? You made it back to
I made it back to
Aotearoa.
Aotearoa.
New Zealand.
Exactly.
Are you thrilled? Are you chuffed? Are you cold?
It's a little bit chilly.
How are your nipples?
They're a bit harder than they were in China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me the nipple state in China. Like,
Oh, my nipples were loving it. My nipples were all over it.
Your dick hated it. No, your dick in hot weather. Dicks are much better because they flop hard. They flop further away.
Right.
Cold weather, the dick don't like it. Really, it's probably why the Nords are so big. They're like, we don't have small cocks. We just have to be huge people to
Right.
make us look like we've got some sort of dingaling down there. Whereas the Asians were like,
How the
they're a
hell
lot
did this
smaller
rugby
guys.
podcast already go down this route?
they get more distant. What do they say about the Asians? They say they don't have the biggest members, do they? I'm sorry to all our Asian listeners. I apologize. You may have a massive cock. Speaking of cocks, Manscaped.
God.
Yeah,
times.
there we go. By the way, if you're new to this podcast,
This is Tony.
this is called Two Cents Gets Distracted. It's a rugby podcast.
It's a rugby podcast. There will be rugby.
There will be rugby.
At some point, if you are viewing,
Yeah.
there will be a little, it's probably already popped up on the screen that says rugby chat starts at, and then there'll be a timestamp. If you're listening, sorry, you kind of,
If you're listening,
just keep fast forwarding.
You might want to use one of those little fast forwarding functions, or if you're listening and you like a lot of nonsense for a little
And
bit,
just enjoy.
just listen to us.
Talk about nipples.
Get deep into that nipple chat.
Yeah.
Get deep into your earlobes.
Yeah.
Um.
But I was in China for a month.
Yeah. How was it?
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Happy to be home.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Although this time, weirdly, we booked just the cheapest flight. Because you know me. I booked the cheap stuff.
You're a high roller.
And the
opposite of that.
the connecting flight, we left Wuhan at like 9 p.m. And then we
Yes.
got to another city in China called Haikou, which
Haikou.
left for Auckland at like 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, cripes.
That's a brutal time when you got two young ones.
Yes. How do they deal with the travel? Are they okay?
They mostly just slept. They were actually pretty good.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, so not too bad. Like my son, after he was like playing games on the little screen as we took off. 'cause
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, chill. They're going to give you some food, so just stay awake. Stay awake until you've had the food.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then
Because I don't
after
want
that-
to feed you again.
Yeah, exactly. After the food, like I was like, right, you need to go to sleep now. And he's like, oh, do you want me to try to go to sleep now? I'm like, yes, son. At 4:30 in the morning, I want you to try to go to sleep. He's like, as if it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
He was like, boom.
It's like, oh, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah, he was gone.
Yeah.
So it was grand.
And the girl, she's not too bad. She sleeps pretty well.
Yeah, well, we boarded that flight. We checked in really late because the connecting flight was delayed, so we were among the last people on. So she was sitting a few rows back.
All right.
So I didn't get to see much of her during the flight.
So the wife takes care of the girl. So it's boys and girls split.
Well, it's usually I go with my daughter because she's slightly smaller and I'm slightly bigger. So we figure between the two of us,
Yeah,
there's
right.
more space.
Yes.
But I'm a bit of a prick.
You are a bit of a prick. I
And
agree. Is this related to
my
your...
daughter had a bit of a dicky belly. And I was like, I'm not dealing with that shit. I'm not dealing with that literal shit.
Oh,
so
right.
my wife can deal with that. But no, thankfully, she was fine on the plane. But like, I was like,
You were
I'm not dealing with that. I'm a 1950s dad. You take care of the children.
Exactly. I've got to be in tip-top shape to talk about rugby in front of a whiteboard tomorrow. So you handle that. No, well, I'm glad to hear that you're
A bit of a scumbag.
no surprises. It's a surprise to most people. Most people would see
think I'm
you
a really
as
nice
a real
guy?
nice guy, but you get to know him. He's
He's
a
a
real
real prick.
real piece of shit.
Exactly.
Speaking of piece of shit, I had my channel. I made a video. Well, there was a video made on my
That
channel.
video was classic. People need to watch that video.
No, it's a terribly performing
If you haven't seen that video, you should go watch Tony's.
Really, this is not a great place to do the plug, to be honest. Well, it's good because I think this is on
Right.
my channel, really.
Okay.
But
Is this video going on your channel?
I think the last
Okay.
one was on your channel, so I think this is
Okay.
on my channel. So you can say fuck.
Oh, I can fuck it off. Fucking A.
Okay, easy. But yeah, like it was a strange video, and so a lot of people took it in the spirit it was intended.
Yes.
And then also some South Africans listened to it too. I'm kidding. There are a lot of South Africans who took it the way it was intended to.
Most people do.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter what place they're from,
It
most
is.
people take things the way it's intended.
So my channel has believe it or not, it has a 90. Yours probably has a higher one than I. It's got a 97% like to dislike ratio.
Right.
And that video had a 91%.
Okay, so slightly lower.
It's slightly lower, but I thought it was going to be like I'm
You thought it was
literally
gonna get
shitting
smashed.
on.
Yeah.
Shitting on. Well, sorry, Heath was.
Yeah.
Bloody Heath.
I hope we're going to see more of Heath.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I think the algo punished that video a bit because there's not
did.
been enough activity on the channel.
And I
think that's
also
what
released it at, you know how you get a chart in YouTube, it tells you when
Prime time.
when your viewers are on. And I just had it done on like a random Wednesday.
You're like,
And I
I'm
was
just going live, baby.
fuck it, we'll do it live. And I just put it out right at the worst time. So in that first 24 hours.
Is
And
vital.
also the algo. And maybe
Yeah.
maybe it wasn't as it was alright.
But it'll still. I think it'll pick up when international season comes along.
maybe we'll
That's
see.
what I reckon.
Yeah, it was really a preview to that. It could have been probably released closer to that. Would have.
Maybe.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hateful Heath from Huntley. Go check it out if you haven't.
It's really funny. I enjoyed it. I actually laughed
Like out loud.
out loud. It takes a bit to get me to laugh out loud.
Yeah,
You just
right.
sit there and I go, "That's funny."
Oh, all right, yeah. No, he was very vengeful, and he's got some terrible pictures of me that
Exactly.
can't be seen to the public.
Exactly.
Well, that's why I figured if I really took some real good shots, we're breaking the fourth wall. Heath is me. But if I took some massive shots of me, I wanted to somehow get you into it by calling you. But I wanted to be like, I know his uncle, and he told me he was a long string of weasel piss, because that's what your uncle called.
Yes. Yes.
So he's gonna.
That uncle's still alive, actually.
Yeah, exactly. He's mates with Heath. Would he be mates with Heath? That guy?
Well, he's from Whakatane, so
Yeah, Whakatane and Huntley Heath. That'd be mates.
There you go. Oh, Clive, how's it going, Clive? Uncle Clive?
What's the chances Clive is watching?
Slim to none.
But there is a chance.
There's always a chance.
Don't tell me the odds. Don't tell me the odds. Yeah. But anyway, you're back.
I'm back.
And
I didn't watch a heck of a lot of rugby while
so I
was
watched
gone.
more rugby than you did.
You would have watched more rugby while I was away, yes. There was a little bit of news that came out. Jordy Barrett has decided to go off
Leinster?
to Ireland
Yeah.
for his sabbatical, which, I mean, I'll give my take on it in a second, but what's your take on it? You pleased? You disappointed?
I am ambivalent.
You livid?
I'm ambivalent.
You don't give a shit.
I'm like, okay, how much All Black? So I'm not a Cane supporter. I like the Canes. But yeah, good on them. Good luck to them. And if any way that we can keep our best players by giving them these sort of Japanese sabbaticals or these European sabbaticals, or just giving them, he's a young man who wants to live in a different part of the world for a little bit.
Yep.
But if he can come back and play for the All Blacks and still be, contribute to New Zealand rugby in a lot of ways, he deserves it. No, I'm not at all irritated about it.
Yeah.
Would like to see him go to Munster. Or my other favourite team in Europe, the Harlequins. But it's fine. Good on them. Good luck to them. Have a good time.
What
Enjoy
I like about
Great
it is,
crack.
like you mentioned Japan. I think Jordy must be the first guy taking his sabbatical who's not going to Japan. The initial guys who used to do it, like Richie,
Dan.
they just took time off. Like Richie just took no
that's
game
right.
time. Like he was seen at like all kinds of events.
He went to David Letterman,
Yeah, he's just
was in the
chilling.
crowd.
Yeah, he was just chilling. He just didn't play any rugby.
which was
And
probably the best thing for him.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that was the kind of idea is that these guys get, Conrad Smith did it, a bunch
Yeah.
of them did it, like just to reinvigorate these guys in their 30s, they played a lot of rugby.
Yeah,
they want to
yeah,
just
yeah.
get their bodies back right into shape and then hit the like kind of World Cup year. In kind
full
of,
steam.
And then it's kind of switched to like, well, we're not so worried about our bodies. We just want to make some fucking cash.
And the NZR has used it as a way going, look, you're not going to earn the megabucks, but we will let you earn a few million
Yeah,
yen.
you can go take a big payday over in Japan. And it's always been Japan. Artie's gone to Japan. D-Mac's gone to Japan. Bodie's gone to Japan. Brody's gone to Japan.
Yeah.
They all go to Japan.
Because it's a big
big
payday.
It's a big payday, and I think fewer games.
But it's nice to see him go to...
It's not to Japan. I mean, nothing
actually,
against Japan, but it's lovely to see a guy, a top All Black, go into a top European club. And I will get to see him play. Like, I mean... When we see these guys come back from Japan, I haven't seen the Japanese games.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of form he's in.
And it's going to one of the most illustrious clubs in the world.
They're about to compete in the Champions Cup final. Like he's genuinely going to get to play in some of the biggest games.
Yeah. And boy, oh boy, what a mouth-watering final we have on our hands here.
We do.
Holy smokes. Any other news that was going on
That
while
was
you're
the
away?
main one that kind of happened while I was away. I think the English women won the Women's Six Nations really easily. They smashed the French, and they've won, I think, 3 in a row now. So
I hurt my back.
you hurt your back watching the Women's Six Nations, or
I was
celebrating. Oh,
yeah, exactly. I was like, what? No, I was helping my daughter learn how to ride a bike.
Ooh.
And I was sort of on the back of it, holding the back of it. The bike was slightly too big for her, so I got her a smaller bike afterwards, in which now she rocks it.
Yep.
But I was like holding the back of it. I was in that sort of crouch
It's
low
quite
position
painful,
for a long time, for like a good half an hour, just walking around holding the back of it without training wheels.
Yep.
Just holding the back, making sure it doesn't fall over.
Yeah.
And then I kind of, you do the magic moment where
we let go.
you let them go, and they. So I tried to do that, and she just went, but she was going down.
Going down.
And they put their leg out. Hopefully,
Did you shout out, Tim?
Yeah. Yeah, I shouted all sorts of things. But I went to go lurched kind of sideways to grab her, and just something in my spine went, and I kind of didn't even grab her. I kind of grabbed the bike, but she was still going, so she fell off on the road.
Right.
So she's screaming and like in pain, and I'm like, I can't move. And
she's like, Daddy, help me! Why are you helping me?
Like I can't move. And I'm like when your back goes, you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, have to like hobble to the side, and then I'm trying to do these stretches and stuff. And then
she's on the ground crying.
Yeah, it was awful. And then I managed to get back to the house, and then I do a little bit of work, and then I was like, okay, we'll go back out. My back still feels a bit stiff.
Yeah.
And then I try again, but I try in the backyard on the grass.
Right.
So if she falls over, it's not gonna be too bad.
Yeah.
But we're doing it, and we do it for a while, and then she lies on the ground because she's had enough. She's like having a bit of a hissy fit about the whole thing, and I get onto the ground going, what's going on? And then she goes inside and starts having a fight with my partner about something.
Nice.
And then I'm like, I'm just gonna stay out here for a little while. And then I was like, okay, I better try and get back in. And then I just was stuck in the middle of my backyard, and I couldn't move. Jeez. I was just like. And I was trying to call Lydia. I was like, I can't move. And then she was answering her phone. I could hear them arguing with each other. And then I'm just this old man in my backyard going, Lydia, Lydia. So then I have to crawl on my belly to try and get into the house, and I couldn't. It was a scene. It was a bad scene.
You came right.
I'm schwitzing here as well.
And she learned to ride a bike?
Yeah, we got there in the end.
Nice. I've taught both my kids to ride a bike. It's pretty satisfying.
It is pretty
I also did the run behind the bike thing, but I'm pretty lazy, and that's really hard work.
That is hard work.
So I taught both of my kids to ride a bike through basically the fling technique. So
you need to get them to learn how to coast first.
Basically, I would say, I'm just going to fling you forward a bit. Just stay balanced as long as you can. And eventually they get the idea of they can until they run out of momentum. I'm like, right, now you can do that. You just start with a really little one, and then just get bigger and bigger. Once they can go for basically the whole momentum, then I'm like, right, now I want you to start pedaling. So I just fling them.
Yeah.
It worked a lot better than me running around after them.
Yeah, but he's a strong-willed little kid who's doesn't want to do things she doesn't want to do, basically. But she did good. We got there in the end, and
it's one of my most satisfying parenting moments, though. You couldn't ride a bike, and then I made you ride a bike. It's mine. Give me that credit.
It's my victory.
Yeah, exactly. So very satisfying.
Yes. Any other rugby news apart from my back and the ability to ride a bike now? The child's.
Yeah, I think that's there were some big games on at the weekend, which I want to get to.
There were a little bit on Super Rugby just quickly before we rip into it. the Australians doing a lot better. A lot of surprising results. Like
This season has just
way better.
genuinely
Way better.
been all over the shop, which is fantastic.
And I've been one of my favorite teams to watch this year.
The Crusaders.
You know it.
They
you
just
know
keep
it.
getting pumped.
I have been finding it so satisfying. But
Yeah.
one thing that I'm terrified of, which maybe we'll talk about a little bit later.
Right.
We'll talk about a little bit later. That my fear around the Crusaders. I'm still scared. I'm
Okay.
still scared. Should we
You've
get
been
into
burned too many times.
Should we get into the
Let's
Heineken
start
Cup?
with some semi-finals because there were a couple
get a
of big
semi,
games
everybody.
on. Now, I missed during April. I missed all like the quarters and the round of 16.
I kind of watched some of that.
Okay, how was it?
It was good, entertaining rugby.
There were some big hidings though, weren't there? Like Leinster knocked out La Rochelle, the reigning champions, by a massive margin.
Yeah.
And then the Bulls sent out a B team and they got
That was
walloped.
very odd, but didn't they have like a game in the weekend and a midweek game and another game at home in the following weekend?
Something like that. So
so
Jake
that-
White was like, nah, fuck this.
Yeah, and then they sent a team of nobodies.
Yeah.
Was that the team that Northampton beat?
Yes.
Yeah, right. And it was like, because I was like, I couldn't barely recognize a
Yeah.
single player from the
Yeah.
Bulls.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was odd. Like they have like Curtly Aronser and all those guys.
Yeah,
don't they?
exactly.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, where's Kurt?
But you think, and I was like, isn't this meant to be one of like the
biggest
most
games?
prestigious
Yeah.
game, prestigious
That
competition?
is one thing that I find since I've started following the European club games. Is like it doesn't happen a lot in Super Rugby. It happens a little bit. Like sometimes if a team they've already qualified, they're going to finish top 3 or something. There's one game left in the season. They send a B team out in that final
Yeah.
game. It happens a little bit. It happens a lot more regularly in European rugby that they're like, we're fucking focusing on this one.
Yeah,
So that competition can suck a dick. That is we're sending the B team.
Yeah,
It happens
yeah.
quite a lot. Like the
Happens a
Bulls
little
have
bit-
obviously shifted. They're going to go, we're going to focus on the URC. Sometimes the French league, because they have relegation, if the team is qualified for the Champions Cup, which is this big illustrious comp, but they're
Yeah.
doing poorly because they would have qualified with their results from the previous year.
Yeah.
If this current year they're doing crap and they're risking relegation, they're like, nah,
No, we can't.
bugger that. We have to survive. So
Yeah,
they send
yeah,
a B team. So like it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens enough. Like Leinster and the URC regularly send out the youngsters
Yeah.
because they're focused on the Champions
I guess
Cup.
it's good for those players to be blooded.
For
in
sure.
different
A lot of these
environments and stuff.
guys, the reason they're as good as they are is because they got opportunities.
Yeah,
at a
yeah.
top level competition. So
But there's nothing like that because Super Rugby's just Super Rugby.
That's
If
it.
you're
There's- yeah.
a franchise team,
there's no secondary competition.
There's
There's
zero
no
other
picking and choosing.
But if you're a Premiership team, you're involved in the Premiership. You could be involved in the.
They've got a Premiership
Champions
Cup. They've got a Premiership, and they've got like
the
Champions
Challenge
Cup
Cup,
or Challenge
whatever
Cup. Yeah,
what they
exactly.
have, like,
Yeah.
There was a Challenge Cup game in the weekend as well.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the Challenge
I watched
Cup
the
games.
first half of
How
that.
was it? I was under the impression that you couldn't watch them in New Zealand, but you're like, I watched it.
I watched it and I freaking I think I made halftime comments with the Kiwi lads.
Oh, really? Oh, my God.
I know.
He watched it as well.
Then I went to
well
bed.
behind the
I
times.
just watched the second half. It was very late. Well, what was it?
Was it the Sharks game?
It was the Sharks versus Clermont.
Right.
And Clermont was scoring all these beautiful tries, and the South African team was kicking penalties.
Nice.
So, but I could frame it this way: the Clermont were being French and scoring some great tries, whereas the Sharks were being hard nosed and rugged and taking advantage of the ill discipline of Clermont.
There you go. Both are entertaining rugby to watch.
Yeah, it was actually. It was actually a really entertaining game.
Yeah.
And it was one of those games that you like where it's like, look, there's different styles.
Yeah.
Not everybody has to run the ball.
There you go. Show JK that game.
But I didn't actually see the second half. I know the Sharks won.
Okay.
It was like 3-0 in the first half,
Right.
and the
Sharks were ahead?
The Sharks were right in it.
Okay,
Yeah,
right
I think they were winning for long parts of it.
Right.
But then it was. I think was it maybe a 1-point game at the end or a couple of points at the
That's
end.
good. That's what you like to see.
Yeah. Oh, we've tried to get into these games like
Leinster
6 times.
up against Northampton. That was semi-final number 1 at Croke Park, which is the like
Yeah,
that's the Gaelic football stadium.
It's like the spiritual home of.
It's like 80,000 seats.
It's quite impressive.
They sold it out in 3 hours.
Huge. Yeah.
Like, could we sell out an All Blacks game and an 80,000 seater in New Zealand in 3 hours? I don't think so.
if it was
Depends on the game.
if it was a World Cup game,
Yeah,
yes,
for sure.
If it was a World Cup final, yes.
Yeah.
If it was a British and Irish Lions game, yes.
But
if it was
not much else.
Maybe a Bok test.
The box test, they go on sale for weeks.
Yeah, okay. Maybe a...
And that's out of 50,000 seats. This is 80,000.
Yeah.
That's insane. The Irish are into their rugby.
Yeah, they're really into it.
Big time.
And it's a club game.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, that's the All Blacks.
The Blues
the Blues, could they sell out at 25,000
No, that you can give away that many seats.
No.
Yeah, no, like...
Even for a Super Rugby final, you wouldn't be able to. You could sell it out at Eden Park, 50,000, but you wouldn't get 80,000.
No, I don't think you would. No. We're an apathetic bunch.
Yeah, we are.
It's our natural game. It's meant to be a religion here in New Zealand, but people are a bit meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to get a bit like that, if I can just get
Okay.
distracted
Oh,
again, with the Ranfurly Shield.
Yeah, the Ranfurly Shield.
Like some provinces would win it and they'd have a parade down the street.
Yeah.
Auckland would win it. We're like, we don't care.
No, we did one in North Harbour when we won it.
Right.
Watkinson Dua, last minute try against Canterbury. What year are we talking? 2004, 2005. Rudy Wolf, my mate, was in. Well, when I say my mate, I played rugby with him.
There you go.
And he was nice. He was a really lovely guy. He was in that team.
They had a parade.
I think we had a really mini parade in Takapuna.
Did you
No,
go?
I didn't go.
You didn't go.
I went into Takapuna the night we won it and
Right. Got on the piss.
got on the piss.
Nice. That's just as good as a parade.
Even better,
So
some
you
people would
watched
say.
Leinster against Northampton. Yeah. Leinster go into this one.
Red hot
massive
favourite.
favourites. The bookies are saying 14 points.
Yes, and the commentators certainly believe it.
Commentators, holy shit. I don't know what commentators you guys got, but
Can
we
I-
had a couple of Irish fellas.
Oh my God.
And like the Leinster lineup comes
It was
up and they are
outrageous.
sucking some dick.
They were just...
And then the Northampton lineup comes out.
They were cradling the balls, they were working the shaft, and they were swallowing the
the
gravy.
Northampton lineup comes out, and they're already saying how these guys are going to struggle.
Yeah,
But the
exactly.
game hasn't even started.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they're saying they're going to, but they might struggle.
I don't recognise him. Man. There's Courtney Laws. I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Mitchell, I believe he's played a couple of tests.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call him a world class number 9.
It was different.
No, but then in the second, I was thinking
When
like
James Lowe scored his third try, they were like, "That's the game. That's the game."
There was 38 minutes left, and like that's the last nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Like there's no way, and they were acting like they were 30 points up with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were 18 points up, 17 points up with 38 minutes to go. It's a momentum game. It's a momentum sport. How many times over the weekend did we see teams go bang, bang?
Exactly.
And then the whole game changes.
Yes.
You know?
I mean, admittedly, at that point,
They would be very dominant.
I wouldn't have been picking Northampton to come either, but I wouldn't be saying they're dead and buried.
But as a commentator, you should say, look, the Northampton
got a long way to come back.
Yeah, it's got a steep hill to climb.
They need to score next, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, this could get away from them.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's not looking good.
Yes.
But they were certainly not, and they weren't out of it. They made a good game of it.
That's right.
They were wholly dominated in that first half.
Oh, for sure.
They
would have been pretty happy with the scoreline went in, what it was. I forget what it was. Like something like something 3.
Boy, Leinster are a quality outfit.
For sure.
They are such a good team to watch. They
so
just
many
seem to
Irish
make...
internationals that side. James Gibson Park was on fire.
Oh, he was incredible. That first try, that just presence of mind, like tap and there,
pass,
that
and then the
nice
second one
long
with
pass.
the slap.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he is just next level, isn't he? He'd make the All Blacks.
Yeah, I think so.
James Lowe played very, very well. Like, he just doesn't do anything wrong. He's not like electric speed winger, but he's just like his kicking game. I even like his kicking game.
Kicking is massive.
Yeah, he's
huge
great.
boot.
Yeah, I thought Byrne didn't do too much wrong. Could do with a little bit more pace, couldn't he?
Yeah, he's not real quick.
And his kicking at poles wasn't.
He's
great.
like Grant Fox, I guess. If Grant Fox wasn't that good a goal kicker, like Grant Fox was never that gassy, but he would he'd push the backs around. That's his job. He'd direct the backs around the park. But he's not like a Jordy Barrett who's gonna and he's gone. Like, he got that intercept, and you're like, he's not going to make it.
No, yeah, exactly.
He never even looked like making it.
He looked like he was running a quicksand.
Exactly. Yeah. He's not very fast.
Yeah.
I think he usually kicks better than that, to be fair, but he had a pretty poor night. I think he had 40% off
what
the
is it,
tee.
Tag Byrne, Porter, and what's your name? Is it Tag?
Tag Furlong.
Tag Furlong. Whoa, he was up for that game. There was one bloody, there was one slow-mo of him celebrating a penalty afterwards, and it looked like Jabba the Hutt, like having an orgasm. It was, no offense, Tag, I'm sure he's an avid watcher.
Yeah.
But it was like strange and unnatural how happy he was watching a big man celebrate
He's loving
that.
it.
He really was. He played out of his skin.
Yeah.
He really did. Like, yeah, and they're just stout defenders. They just seem to do most things
Did
right.
they switch off a little bit once they got that try?
I think so. I think so. And if they do that against Toulouse, they're going to be
They're going to get
spanked. But Toulouse are going to have if Toulouse defend the way they defended this weekend, they're going to have big problems
both sides that won their semis were red hot favourites, but also kind of showed that they're still a bit vulnerable at times.
100%, which was great, entertaining rugby.
Northampton did well. I mean, they scored those 2 tries. Hendy and Seabrook, both the kind of outside backs, good tries later on, put the pressure on. It was great to see them actually just keep at it, right? Because a lot of sides would fold.
Yeah, and they seemed like they were like
they had a lot more ball in the second half too, and they stopped dropping the fucking thing in the first half. God,
they seemed like stun mullets a little bit. There was
pressure, I think, maybe
caught on the deer and the headlights, sort of jazz. But they got a little bit of cohesion to their game, and
took a little bit of the foot off the throat, and they
they played like they were playing in the most important club game of their lives, which.
Exactly.
I don't know a huge amount about Northampton, but what kind of success rate do they have?
They haven't had any success in this competition for a long time.
I like the look of their number 8. Who's he?
Oh, Augustus, the South African fella. He used to play for the Stormers. Yeah, he was having a cracking game.
Whoa, he's mean.
Yes.
Yeah, ferocious.
He's a very good player. He's one of those South African guys, kind of like Gibson Park and Lowe have done as from a Kiwi point of view. Like Augustus was all good for the Stormers.
Yeah,
but he's definitely taken his game up another level since he's gone abroad.
The hooker for Northampton also, I think he's a gamer. He put in a couple of big shots.
The Northampton 4-pack did all right, I think, once they kind of got some momentum. It was
and they'll big upping their number 11.
Was that Hendy on one wing? I forget.
Yeah, Hendy had the great put down. Yeah. Or was that the other one?
There was a cracking
Seabrook. There was a cracking put down.
Hendy, I know, dropped one, which led up to one of Lentz's early tries. Dropped a high ball. But anyway.
They were talking about Hendy as if he was like a shoo-in for like being an England cap one day.
Okay.
One day.
Mitchell, England have got quite a few good backs. Yeah, Mitchell was kind of outclassed by Gibson Park.
I think everyone in the world would have been outclassed by.
Yeah,
he was. Jameson Gibson Park had a worldie.
Yeah,
and a worldie.
Mitchell dropped a couple of balls. Their line out was.
Can somebody tell Jameson Gibson Park to shave his head?
Yeah, just let it go.
Let it go, bro. Let it go. Yeah. Which I can't talk.
Right,
but he should.
I still have a full head of hair, but I can't grow a beard like him. So.
Exactly.
You win some, you lose some.
What do you look like when you have a beard?
I can't grow a full beard. I can grow a goatee.
Have you got?
I can grow a wee mo. But if you were looking on the
camera,
camera,
if I touch your face?
That is.
Hair there?
No, I haven't shaved for one day. That's one day.
Yeah, but it's not going to grow on one day.
I understand. That's not a lot.
Who would like to see Mark grow up? Speaking of bodily hair, Manscaped, everybody.
Do you want to hear Tony talk about Manscaped?
We got approached by Manscaped to be a sponsor.
You got approached by Manscaped.
Yeah.
I did not get approached by nobody.
And I'm keen to do it, but he doesn't like talking about pubes. But if you shave your pubes, use any product you like because we're not sponsored by Manscaped. But maybe one day. Who knows? Who knows? Mark.
The other semi-final.
Oh, a cracking game.
It was on like 2 in the fucking morning.
I did not watch it at that time.
Me neither.
But it was really, really entertaining.
It had kind of a similar vibe, like dominant first half.
But I still thought that the Harlequins are just dangerous. And I feel like they play with this philosophy of like, if you're going to score 39 points, that's cool. We'll score 40.
Yeah.
Like
they don't go into a game thinking we're going to shut you out. They're
no.
Like, we're going to outscore you.
Yeah, I really, really like the way they play.
Like the cut of their jibs,
I don't like the cut of their jibs.
Some of the tries they conceded were so soft.
Oh,
2 line-out errors, and then one from a restart where they just got turned over.
When they got to 12 all with like 10 minutes ago. I think that was the point that was part of the game that, apart from Marla having an absolute brain fart. That part of the game where 30 minutes they got to 12 all. They were battling away. They were in and out. They were hot and they were cold. They were up and they were down. And you're wrong when it's right. It's black and it's white. We fight, we break up. We kiss, we make up.
Yeah, copyrighted.
Yep. But then there was that just a stupid little fumble. The halfback mate has a meal of it. Throws a pass to
Flamont.
No, but yeah, Flamont.
It ended up with Flamont.
And then Flamont got it without the headgear, which was odd to see.
Do you hear the commentators talk about that?
I heard something about he couldn't use the color he wanted.
Yeah, apparently you have to use color which matches your team's colors now, and he's like, "Fuck you!"
So he doesn't. He's like, "Who? I don't care about concussion anymore." What color does he like to use?
I thought he usually used red. When he wears France, he wears red, doesn't he?
He's just maybe he just wanted to be contrary.
Maybe if he's
and then
wearing
they
red, he likes to wear blue.
then they leaked a couple of two quick ones before halftime.
Yeah,
And
DuPont
then-
scored both of them, 33 minutes and 37 minutes.
That's right. And then you thought, oh, that was. I was thinking to myself, oh, it looked like it was going to be a good game.
Yeah, yeah.
Then they were the dominant team in the second half.
Absolutely. They scored the first 2 tries in the second half. Murley got one and Tyrone Green got one. Both crackers.
Yeah, and then old
Malia, once they got that yellow card.
Oh yeah,
The yellow
yeah.
card for that that kind of clean out on DuPont. You
Yeah.
can't touch DuPont.
You can't touch DuPont.
I mean, it was a
But
bad clean out.
It was a bad clean out. He was lucky it wasn't red.
Yeah.
If there were 20-minute reds, I think that would have been a red.
You reckon?
Yeah, it was interesting. Like the referee, what's his
Matt
name?
Carley, I think it was.
They were-
Andrew Brace.
They were trying to talk him into
Andrew
a red.
Brace.
Like
Yeah.
the assistant was like, he was like, "You think it's red?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "It's yellow for me," which was kind of interesting to see because a lot of times you see referees go,
That is kind of
they'll insinuate what they think. I think
Yeah.
it's yellow. I think it was a clean out. He didn't go in a malicious whatever he was trying to
Yeah.
say, and someone else says,
I think
"Yeah,
you should
but I
just
think it's
have
red."
one. I think you should just have another look at this angle.
Yeah, and then they go, "Oh, okay, it's a red then."
Yeah.
You know, they'll always go with the person that is the most severe.
Yeah.
But he was
He was like, nope, sticking to my guns, which is what I like to see in a ref.
Yeah. What was it? It seemed like pretty much direct head contact though, with force
But I guess because he said it was a legit attempt because he was bent. But anyway,
to clean it. It is a tricky part of the game.
And
But
then-
people are in those positions all the time.
exactly.
You know, so
And then Toulouse immediately scored. Immediately. Malia got a great finish in the corner.
and then but you're still sort of thinking there, going, I
One
like
more
I like Marcus Smith.
Yeah.
And you think these guys are capable of magic. We could be in for an absolute grandstand finish here.
Yeah.
And then Marlo wants to clip Ramos around the ears.
Yeah, that was dumb.
So dumb.
Yeah.
Favorite bit though, there was because obviously Marla, I forgot his name, but Marla wasn't happy about it, and they cut to a MCU on him, medium close up. You just see him looking at Ramos, going, "You little bitch."
Really?
Yeah. You fully mouth it like, yeah, it's you little bitch, and yeah, it was. I'm not saying he was being a little bitch, but yeah, it was a clip around the ears. It was nothing like.
Egregious.
It wasn't going to
Right.
cause a massive injury.
Just don't
but
do it.
Why would you do that at that moment? They just won the penalty.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Why give the ref a reason to turn the penalty around?
if they got that penalty, would have still been a point.
They still
down.
had 3 minutes or 2 minutes left. They needed to score, but it at least would have, if they'd scored and then take the kick.
Crazy,
and it's time to restart.
funnier things have happened in sport.
exactly.
You get you get a quick line out maul. They got a line out try.
Yeah.
So the Toulouse, they showed a lot of vulnerabilities all over the park.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh well.
They're both pretty entertaining games, and it makes for a cracking final.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're a New Zealander watching this going, I don't watch European rugby.
You should watch that because it's pretty good.
And now we've got maybe the two biggest clubs in the world right now up against each other.
Both atmospheres were insane.
Yeah, totally. And where is it? It's getting played. Is it
London at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Really?
Yeah. They're going to dig up that pitch. Sorry, footballers. I would say sorry, Harry Kane, but he doesn't play for them anymore.
He
He
doesn't play for
plays
them.
in Germany.
They have that Sam Heung-min guy,
Okay.
the guy that does that.
Okay. All I know is Harry Kane went to Bayern Munich, and they've won like the Bundesliga for like, I don't know how many years in a row, like 10. And then as soon as he went there,
They've gone to shit.
they haven't gone to shit, but Leverkusen ended up winning.
All right.
Like for the first time, it's like, because Harry Kane never wins any premiership trophies with Tottenham, so he's like, I'm pretty much guaranteed to win if I go to these. I'm sorry. Please bleep that. Unless you're going to get demonetized.
Yeah, can't drop the C-bomb.
But they don't
Far
win
out,
it.
I have to look for the C-bomb now.
That's right at the clap. Look for the clap.
Clap loudly.
Whoa. There you go.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. Really handy stuff.
Anyway, that's European rugby.
That's European rugby.
The final is going to be on at like 1:45 in the morning.
On Sunday?
At a couple of weeks. The end of May, I think 26th our
Oh,
time.
right, okay. But it's not on Monday. That's the main thing, you know? Well, yeah. No, but it's mouth-watering clash. It really, really is. And if you love rugby, you should watch it. And I enjoyed the quarterfinals for the ones I caught.
Yeah,
and,
it's literally like half the Irish team or more up against half the French team.
I'd like to see the South Africans take it a little bit more seriously. Like, I think if...
yeah, I don't know what the other lineups
well, they got that
like.
travel issue and all that sort of stuff, and like they were in a precarious situation, like having 3 games in a week and having like
That's
16,000.
still a bit of a contentious one, I think. Like some of the French and English fans are like, "Why are these guys in the European Cup? This is a European Cup. Like if they want to play here, they should come and base themselves in like Spain or something, you know. So we don't have to. I mean, that's just fans talking, but I mean, just like the travel, it's just long.
Yeah.
It's just a lot longer to fly to South Africa than it is to fly to London.
And like I see a lot of the coverage I do see of URC and Premiership and all that sort of stuff. The stadiums are relatively pretty good for the most part. The Premiership can be a little bit light on numbers. The Irish and URC crowds seem to be okay, but I see the South African games and they seem pretty sparse.
I think it's just
they're overloaded.
It's the sizes of the stadiums. It's why Super Rugby looks the worst because the stadiums are big.
Unless you live in Christchurch.
Yeah.
Why Waikato Stadium isn't massive.
No, for seats 20,000 though. Like a lot of those Premiership stadiums and URC ones only seat like 10,000.
Yeah.
And like if you get like I think the Edinburgh one. Or was it the Glasgow one? I forget. It literally seats less than 10,000 people, but it's always full.
And then you got the Stoke.
And it just looks cracking.
Yeah, and like it used to be back in the day with North Harbour, you used to be felt like there was 100,000 people only were Domain.
Yeah.
And there was like 15,000 of us,
Yeah, exactly.
12,000 of us, you know?
Exactly. So I would say most of the leagues probably average relatively similar numbers. Super Rugby doesn't publish their numbers anymore, which is a bit...
Because they're so crap.
Yeah, because they're so crap compared to what they used to be. But most of the clubs get 10,000. Like people tell me, there's no way the Blues had 10,000. Look at those seats. They're so empty.
Yeah, well, there's 50,000.
50,000 seats.
1 in 5.
I've literally been to those games sometimes when they have announced the numbers over the 10 or...
There's 11,000 people.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been like, oh, yeah. That's what 10,000 looks like. So I've got a decent gauge on what Eden Park is like. So yeah. I think the URC numbers get brought down a little bit by the Italians because sometimes their crowds are like 2,000 or 3,000.
Yeah.
But the Rebels don't get a heck of a lot either in Super Rugby. The top 14 gets the most. I think they average like 18,000. But they've got a couple of clubs who bring that up as well.
Oh well, look. There's another rugby competition going on in the world right now.
Super Rugby.
And it's super duper. I'm enjoying this year.
It's best year in a long time.
Yeah.
I honestly think the Crusaders storyline is part of the reason it's entertaining.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they've not only just not looked like if they were just like where the Chiefs are right now, like in 4th, that would be normal.
7 times. Seven
time champions. Back to back champions.
Jesus.
That's unbelievable. Like Bayern freaking Munich, they finished. Well, I don't know if the season's over, but they're in 2nd. That would be like if Rob Penny takes over and the Crusaders are 2nd or 3rd, you'd be like, well, there was bound to be a little bit of drop off when Razor left.
Yeah,
but they've won 2 games out of 10.
And they're playing in a competition where it is so amazingly easy if you're semi-decent compared to your competition to make the finals.
Yes.
There are 12 teams, 8 teams get through. It's stupid. We lose all tension in a lot of the games because it's not like, oh, we're desperate, or we really needed to get that number 1 or number 2. There's no advantage really. If you get top 4, you get the home semi. I guess that's the only real advantage. We pretty much know who the top 4 are already. And so it loses a lot of like drama and tension and all that sort of thing because you don't really care. But considering that they're the 7-time defending champions, they are in a real hard fight to make the incredibly easy to make top 8.
They're in 10th spot.
You know, and they're up against the Drua, the Highlanders, or them. You know,
the Drua are in 8th.
The Highlanders are
in 7th. Even Moana Pacifica is above them in ninth.
Yeah, Moana Pacifica aren't going to make it. So yeah, it's where are the Highlanders? I thought they were out of the
The
eight.
Highlanders are in seventh. They're on 19 points because they've had 2 wins in a row.
Yeah,
They beat the Force and I
then they
think
beat
Moana
them on
Pacifica.
Pacifica.
So they beat a couple of the lowly teams.
But I think they've got a hard run home.
They've got Crusaders next.
Come on, Islanders! And like
But what's crazy is
I'm petty.
the Crusaders, who are 2 from 10, which is a pretty bad record.
Yeah.
They are only, because they're on 13 points, the Drew are on 17 and are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So they're literally 1 win
Yeah.
away. I don't know what the points difference is, but they're 1 win away from being in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous.
That's not good.
It's not ridiculous. You can't have 2 out of 10 wins. That many weekends be like boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom,
Make
and
the
then
playoffs.
and then make the playoffs. It just loses its legitimacy. But anyway, that's
I
the
don't
situation.
know, I
they're
don't know any fans who like that rule.
I
But
mean, in
when
that system.
when they interviewed all 5 of the New Zealand franchise CEOs a few months ago, all 5 of them said they like the way it is.
Okay, imagine if there's a policy within your company that you personally really dislike and you think it's an absolute load of bullshit.
Yeah.
But and the press come to you and say, "What do you think of this thing that your boss has done?"
Yeah,
You're
it's
like,
good.
It's good
And it was interesting because
because they pay me to do a job.
all
you
of
know?
their answers were like really robotic. Like a lot of the other questions, they had like quite articulate and varied answers.
Yeah.
All of their answers to that question were like one line.
This is
like
the media line.
Like, yeah, we are currently happy with the format of the competition or something
Yeah,
like that. You know, it was just
yeah.
like boom.
It's like-
Only the Blues said maybe we could look at reducing it in the future. But we're currently happy with how it is.
Kind of reminds me of like comic book movies where like characters die and you're like, and then two movies later they've got some sort of miracle cure, and you're like,
So actually, that didn't have any meaning at all.
yeah, and like it's just there's no tension, there's no drama, and it loses all its tension. And that's what you want in sport. You want to be on the edge of your seat going, we need to win this to keep our season alive.
Yeah.
And the Crusaders should be past that point. They should be dead and buried.
Does that mean it's good that it keeps the season interesting right till the end?
No, but there should be more interest. This is an aberration, the fact that this is interesting. Like, there should be interest in every week, and also if you're going for that number 1 or 2 spot, imagine if you're like, if we can win this, we get a bye in that first round. We've got an automatic semi-final. That'd be great. That you rest your team. And there'll be teams super fighting for it, and you give them, a little minor premiership trophy. You win that, you've won a trophy, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit like the NRL. People love me copying a bit of league stuff. I think that would create a lot more interest. But my sickening fear is, and this is a little bit about Scott Barrett as well, but you finish first. The Crusaders
finish 8th.
Crusaders scrape 2 wins together. They get Scott Barrett back, and they are a different team with Scott Barrett in it. And all of a sudden,
he's been back for like a week or 2, hasn't he?
no, he didn't play this weekend.
Oh, okay.
He got injured again, and
Right.
they looked like a great team against the Rebels when they played.
Oh,
them.
that's that game they won.
They
won easily when he was back.
And he was immense.
That's right.
He was massive. He is so important to that team. He's so good. So good. The team, like, one of their biggest problems this year is they haven't had any go forward. They haven't had go forward.
They have
from
a
their
lot of
forwards.
injuries as well.
They have a lot of injuries.
Jordan,
So if they get
Blackadder's been out most of it.
Blackadder
Scotty Barrett.
Blackadder got injured again. If they get Blackadder back, Scotty Barrett back, they've got David Harvilli playing bloody 10 at the moment. So if they get some people back in key positions, all of a sudden
You got to play the Crusaders.
you're playing the 7-time defending champions.
Yeah.
And a playoff. That's your reward. That's
finishing
your
first.
reward for finishing first. And the Blues, one of their worst performances of this year was playing against a Crusaders team that played like shit.
Yep.
Because they've got a mental hoodoo over us. Because they've hurt us
Many times.
so many times.
Show us on the doll where the Crusaders hurt you. Everywhere.
Especially in my penis.
Yeah.
It's so look. maybe how would you feel as a Blues fan? Week number 1, you've got the Crusaders. You're playing.
I'd rather have the Highlanders
Yeah,
or like the Drua.
or the Rebels.
Or the Rebels.
The Rebels
Yeah.
look like they're heads up to the big play to the Rebels, man. The team that's on the rack.
Yeah,
Probably not going to be here next year.
probably not. They've had a couple of hidings, but they've also put in some decent performances. I think they're 5-5, which is 3 wins better than the Crusaders.
Yeah, are the Brumbies are the top team?
Top
for
Aussie
Austria,
team,
top
yeah.
Aussie.
Yeah.
But they're
Brumbies, then the Reds and the Rebels have both got pretty similar records. So the
Yeah,
Reds, I mean, the Reds have been unlucky because they've lost a lot of games at the death. Like Golden Point loss,
Yeah.
like last minute try to the Blues.
Yeah,
They had another
yeah.
last minute one where they lost. So.
other weeks where they just haven't turned up.
Yeah, they've had a couple of shock losses. I think the Force and one at Pacifica, which are like, what?
We bet them by they came to Eden Park and it was like, this is the route when you're away. This is the game of the
No, we went to Brisbane, didn't we?
We
beat them in the last minute.
I'm sorry, I was thinking of the Brumbies.
We smashed the Brumbies.
Yeah, but they
Game
were
of the round.
Game of the round. Each time they've done that, they're against the Canes
Yeah.
and then us.
It's been awful.
They've got their asses handed us. But then they went back home and bet the Canes.
Hurricanes.
Bet the Canes at home.
That's
There
why
was
this season's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. The Reds have played 5 New Zealand teams and won 3 games.
Yeah.
That's
They
pretty.
won down in
pretty
Christchurch
damn
for the
good.
first time since 1999.
Like, yeah.
What were you doing in 1999? In high school.
Lost my virginity in 1999.
There you go.
Did I? I was so excited about the Reds winning 1999, 5th form. Yeah, that's when I got it.
There you go.
Popped it out.
Get it in there. Job
there's,
done.
There's a 25-year-old child I've never met just wandering around going, he's probably a real bastard. Yeah. 20, Jesus. Yeah. That was what I was doing. What were you doing in 1999?
I was in high school.
Oh, me too. But
I was working in a car wash.
oh, was that the cafe?
No, that was Rubber Dub.
How many games?
I never worked at cafe. That's Matthew Ridge's one.
I thought you worked. Oh no! Did Matthew Ridge come through? You had a story about some.
Mark Ellis came through and I
that's
cleaned his car and I was a real fucking brown nose.
You were a brown nose to him.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was just starstruck. And after he
You're on the
left,
tally.
I had that kind of self-realization that I was acting like a complete knobhead.
What did you say? What did you like?
I was just being a real suck up. Like I helped clean his car. I was like, I got your floor real clean, Mr. Ellis. And then like I put some extra spray, like fragrance in your car, Mr. Ellis. Like it wasn't even his car. He was returning it to TVNZ or whatever. 'cause
Right, it's
he
like-
had to clean it before he returned it. He did not give a shit.
He was like, okay, mate. Just,
And I-
as long as
but-
you didn't take a shit in it.
Exactly. I was pleased I at least had the realization at the moment to be like, why are you acting like a dick?
Back it off.
Back it off. So anytime I've met anybody else, just be cool.
Just now you're cool when you meet
Cool.
people.
When I meet all the celebrities, I'm just fucking
I
cool.
remember I've met much larger celebrity. Well, not much. Well, I've met the King of England, for God's sake. So yeah, he's a fair bit bigger than.
Yeah.
You know, the one time I felt like I did not handle a situation coolly when I met somewhat of a celebrity.
Right.
Only in New Zealand, I met Savage.
Oh, yeah.
From Savage the
he's
rapper.
Yeah.
And he just released
Decepticons.
Decepticons, yeah. And he just released it recently. And me and my mate Charlie were really into Savage right at that moment. We're really enjoying our shit. And then I was lining up for the movies, and I was on a date with me and him were with some 2 girls, whatever. And then he was behind us, and this is like I'm not super young, I'm like in my early 20s or something, and we were like, I was like, oh my god, it's Savage, it's behind us, and I just acted like a giddy schoolgirl.
Right.
Like, yeah, he was like, thanks, guys. Like, kind of weirded out by how
Right.
excited we were to meet
Yeah.
Savage. Like kind of screaming like he was a beetle, basically. Didn't handle that situation coolly.
Yeah, just be cool.
Yeah.
People like it when you act normal.
Yeah, when you treat them like they're actual normal people.
Normal people, just other humans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I don't actually meet a huge amount of celebrities, to be honest
No,
with
me
you.
neither.
Yeah.
Not a heck of a lot.
Brown
I mean,
nose.
I did get to talk a bunch of those rugby players, during the Six Nations.
they're
And
world-class
like
rugby.
when we chatted off, like sometimes I would, like if there was talking to multiple, one would come on first and be stuck chatting to me. probably not their ideal scenario because they're like, who's
Yeah.
this prick? I know I'm getting paid to talk. But now I'm going to make some small talk. But it was always cool.
I'm sure you'll be fine. Yeah.
It was always just cool small talk. Like if you got kids, how old are your kids? Like it was just like regular small talk, like
100%.
talking to any
And it's
other
a professional environment.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was never like giddy and acting like a knobhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, but admittedly, if
You're
there was
ready
like-
for it.
if another one came on, I didn't exist, and they would just talk to each other because they knew each other. All those players know each other.
Yeah.
So I would just be like sitting there in the corner, like, okay, we're ready to go now, guys.
The nerdy guy with the whiteboard.
Basically, yeah.
I've written up your stats.
Yeah, I got your stats for you, Mr. Jackman.
Okay. Some games.
So Hurricanes flogged the Waratahs 41-12.
Yes.
That was to be expected. That was
Didn't
first
catch
up
that.
against 11th. The Blues beat the Rebels by a similar margin, but away from home and a slightly
Rebels-
higher ranked team.
the Rebels-
will be disappointed.
The Rebels were on for about the first 20 minutes and then sort of fell away.
Yeah, Mark Talia did pretty well.
The Blues this year have been, you know what you think of Blues rugby, you think of flashy backs, your long range tries, and a little bit of weakness up front.
Yeah.
It's kind of the opposite this year.
Yeah, that's right.
Stern Vern has got that team,
Coming.
really, really focusing on just the hard graft and
Yep.
the grit,
I mean, when
which has
your
been really good to see.
debutant prop gets a try, that's an encouraging sign of how the forward pack's going.
Yeah. Man, Hoskins Tutu, dude.
Yeah.
He's been playing the house down, dude.
I think he's the top try scorer in Super Rugby at the moment.
He's looking outstanding.
All Blacks contendable?
Really, really hope so. Yeah, he just if he could be,
Or
he's
big French contract contendable?
oh yeah, they'd love him over there. He just needs to have a little bit more consistency on defense, a little bit more activity, a little bit more physicality on defense. But he's bloody world class. Well, he's playing really well.
Yeah. The Highlanders went to Tonga and played Moana Pacifica in Tonga for the first time ever. It was pissing down with rain,
Which was
a shame.
Which is
the
shame.
crowd was great.
Yeah.
I seem to remember, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't feel like the first game played in Samoa was quite the buzz that they seem to have in Tonga.
Yeah.
Samoa gets
I can't even remember it.
Samoa gets more games than Tonga for sure. Like
But
I don't think Tonga has played a home game
That was their first ever.
for years.
Well, no, Tonga,
Like whenever they play the Pacific Nations Cup, Tonga plays
Yeah.
their home games in like Fiji or something.
it's a nation of 100,000 people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's bugger.
There's
Like,
no
and like,
resource
I don't know if you're listening to this anywhere else in the world, you might be like, well, don't all the Pacific Island nations have that many people? Fiji almost has 1 million.
Yeah, Samoa I think is substantially bigger than Tonga, and then Fiji is on another level entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not talking giant. It's still a small amount.
Still small amounts of people, but yeah, even in themselves, because they get lumped together a lot.
Yeah.
Each one of them is
And you
very
think about
different.
the amount of incredible talent that's come out of those islands.
That's incredible.
You know, like it's insane.
Yes.
It's insane. And like talent across both codes. What are you doing on your phone?
Oh, I was just going to check up Tonga population.
All right, what
gonna
have we
have
got
to
here?
Google.
This is called Mark
The Google
Googling
podcast.
on his phone.
Tonga population, yeah, you're right, 100,000.
What do you think I was making it up?
Just checking.
Okay.
Samoa population, 200,000. So it's double the size.
Just about to say that.
Okay, sorry, bud.
Just steal my moment.
So it doesn't seem like that much different, but that's literally double.
Yeah.
And then Fiji's 1 million, so that's 5 times that.
But what's double two?
I know. So it's drastically different, even though
Yeah.
they get lumped in the same as being one and the same.
Yeah.
They are very different places.
100%. 100%.
But yes, the crowd seemed to be enjoying it.
Which is good to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shame about the rain and the loss from Moana Pacifica.
Yeah.
But good for the Highlanders.
Yeah.
Crusaders lost to the Reds. We talked about that in 1999.
Yeah. So that was
What do you
just.
think of David Havili getting charged down? That was Razor's call to put Havili at 10.
It was whose call?
Scott Robertson.
Why was it?
Apparently, he put the word down the pipeline that they needed to play David Havili at 10.
Well, they've had this bloke Hohepper playing.
Yeah, who's a bit of a journeyman, like played for
Well-
Southend or something.
Yeah, and like.
Because who's their regular guy? I forget who he is. He's injured.
Well, Richie Mwanga.
No.
Like,
their other guy.
The guy that won seven in a
the
row.
other guy.
The other guy
guy's
got injured very early in the season.
Yeah. I think
So
maybe
it's
even in the
been-
preseason.
And he
so-
wasn't the regular, because before that was Richie Mwanga. So there was a guy,
Yeah.
like it was a kid, young guy.
I'm sure there's another one.
So you're off your game at the moment. You haven't been watching.
I haven't
over
been
the
watching
last-
rugby for a month.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. And the halfpenny got his Super
His
Rugby debut.
finally, because he got injured in the preseason when they went to like Munster or something. It's like
In a place where
he's played there millions of times and he gets injured.
Yeah.
Fergus Burke, that's the
But he
guy.
looks-
Fergus Burke has been injured.
Yeah,
And
right.
then Rivez Rehana is the youngster.
Yeah, right.
He was injured for a while as well.
And then
He's only 23. So
Vying-
they've had Riley Hohipper,
Who's
like the
just-
29-year-old guy who played for Counties Manukau.
And yeah, they've gone from one of the top 3 or 4 number 10s in the world
To a
Richard
journeyman
Mo'unga,
who's barely played any Super Rugby.
a guy who like played incredibly well.
Arguably one of the best 10s in the world.
And
Hope
like
anyway.
that position is just so vital.
Pivotal. Yeah, exactly.
It really, really is. And Havili is not. Havili's a fantastic footballer, but he's not a number 10.
No.
Yeah, so look, they've got this is a massive clash against the Highlanders.
Yeah.
And it's petty, but I really want to see them lose.
Yeah, me as well.
Really want to see them.
Part of me will just feel better if they don't make the playoffs because then they can't win.
Yeah, exactly. Because if they make the playoffs,
You get everything.
I can just so see them beating us. I can just see it.
I know. And then you can see if they win it from 8, the Super Rugby administrator saying, we told you 8 teams was the right amount for a freaking amount of knockouts.
Oh, God. That would be an absolute tragedy.
Indeed.
It really would.
The worst game, I think, of the weekend, arguably from a spectacle point of view. I mean, if you like seeing lots of points, it was good, but the Chiefs flogged the Force 56-7.
Yeah.
That was just not a contest.
It was a Division 1 team playing a Division 2 team.
Basically.
Yeah. So the Force can't make it now, can they?
They're in 10th. They are only 3
So-
points behind the Crusaders. I think everyone can still make it
Technically.
mathematically.
So who are the Crusaders got for their run home?
I know they've got the
Come
Highlanders.
on, you meant to have the stuff.
They've
This
got the
what
Highlanders.
have you around for?
They've got the Highlanders next.
And they got us at one point.
Let's have a look. Crusaders have got the Highlanders away,
Yes. Come on,
the
Highlanders.
Brumbies away,
Come on, Brumbies.
the Blues at home,
Come on, Blues.
and then the Moana Pacifica boys at home.
They kind of need to win 2.
They need to beat the Highlanders and the Moana Pacifica. So the Highlanders may hold the fate of the Crusaders in their hands.
And their small little hands.
Yes.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yep.
Which, should we, what night's that on? What time's that on?
Which game?
The Highlanders. You meant to know this stuff.
Saturday at
Get back in your
7:05.
rhythm, dude. Maybe do a live stream of that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Just writing it.
Okay.
Come on. Get them out.
I'll win that game just to put a dampener on it.
What else we got coming up?
The Brumbies also got past the Drua 28-20, which was not that convincing, seeing as the Drua generally pretty poor away from home.
Yeah. Okay. Righto.
So yeah, upcoming Moana Pacifica Chiefs. Chiefs should
Chiefs will smoke them.
smoke them. Yeah, exactly. I think it's being played at Mount Smart.
So it's a home game.
Yeah, it's a home game. Reds Rebels. That's a tasty one because both of them have got similar records.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
in
gonna-
Brisbane, so you'd go the Reds.
I think the Reds are on the up.
Yeah, Blues Hurricanes is top of the table clash.
Yeah, really
Saturday
looking forward to
afternoon, Eden Park.
It's a Saturday Arvo, is it?
Yeah, I think 4:35.
I'm thinking about going.
Are you?
You want to go?
Maybe.
Just go to the rugby. Make some content.
Haven't been to any games this year.
We'll go. We should go.
I'll talk to the boss about it.
Okay.
I don't know if she's got any other plans. That's all.
Fantastic. We'll go to that, and then we'll come back and we'll live stream the
Highlanders Crusaders.
The Highlanders Crusaders.
Highlanders Crusaders on the same day after that game, and then you won't get home in time to see kickoff though. 4:35.
Why don't we try and
Finishes 6:35.
multimedia it? I'll be on my phone on a train. We'll be watching it, and you be on your other phone recording us.
Okay, live streaming.
Yeah. What a treat that'll be for everybody.
Waratahs Brumbies. Brumbies should win it, even though it's in Sydney.
Yeah.
then,
Tarzan offering shit.
Force Drua is an important one for the Drua to try and get an away win.
Yeah,
Because they're in eighth.
The Drua should win that,
You reckon?
but the Drua can poop the
The
bed.
Force beat the Reds at home, and they beat the Crusaders at home.
Yeah, I think the Drua will win that. Hopefully.
Drua not good at away.
Yeah, and that's about as way as you can get. The
Yeah,
two
it's Perth.
furthest away teams, aren't they? Yeah, definitely.
Is it further from Fiji to Perth or Dunedin to Perth?
I'd say Fiji,
Okay.
because you look at the the longitude. It's a further latitude.
Okay.
No, is it a longitude? No, it's a latitudes are these. The longitudes are these, aren't they?
Right.
So it's a longitudinal distance, but that's further away. Oh, jeez. We're doing this is the Google episode, this one.
Fiji to Perth distance 6,385
Okay,
kilometers.
6,385.
It does look further than Dunedin just at the brief glance at the map.
Of course it is.
Do I even need to do this?
Well, I just want to be proved right. This is exciting.
Yeah, Dunedin to Perth 4,800, so it's significantly further.
It's quite clearly because
As soon as I looked at the map, I was like, yeah, he's right.
I know the map. Like,
Okay.
I'm a maps man.
I'm a flags guy. I'm really good with
Well,
flags.
you should have a flag, but you know who you'd have a flag battle with?
Who?
With my man,
Oh,
my
Kiwi
main
lads.
man, Hamish,
Okay.
who's sick at the moment.
Is he?
Poor bugger. Yeah. He was poor guy. He was like he streams all the Sevens games. I was watching him, and he was like, he looked like Rudolph. His nose was like, it was so red because he'd been blowing his nose so much, and he puts his head up, and it was just like, great to see him. And you could see he was in pain and stuff. And then he called, and he was calling. I think he called like freaking over 20 hours of content over the weekend.
God.
Sick as a dog. And I was like, dude, you need some rest, some vitamin C, and some sunlight, you vampire bastard.
That's the brutal part of doing live streamings for a job, I guess.
Yeah.
Like if I'm sick and I've only got to do like a 10-minute video, I can get some energy enough, like pop some ibuprofen and
Yeah. But he's just going to sit there and grind it
for
out.
20 hours.
And like sit there calling the whole thing.
The hell with that.
The Kiwi lads, the guy,
The man, the legend.
the Kiwi lad himself.
Guess I loves him.
Yeah, well, he's a heck of a man. He really is.
Hamish.
I got cheated on you, podcast-wise.
Oh, no.
No, I was on the Rugby Recap.
Okay.
Which is the rugby podcast for...
South Africa.
No. There's the Rugby Recap.
Oh, that's Tim.
Rugby
That's
Bits.
Tim. That's Tim and Hamish's one.
That's Rugby Itch and the Kiwi lads. And and they're usually really straight down the middle. Just
You
call
had
some
them going down the garden
call
path.
some normal. But Tim wasn't there.
Oh.
Because he couldn't make it because he was in the air or something, or just their busy
gallivanting
schedules
around.
didn't match up. So I went on and we talked about some very odd stuff. And
Has Hamish got himself a girlfriend yet?
you'd have to ask him.
Okay.
I think he's
If you're watching, Hamish, let me know if you got a
probably
girlfriend.
Mrs. Palmer
Okay.
and 5 daughters, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, it's
you
none
know.
of my business, really.
Well-
as long as you're happy, I don't really mind.
Are you happy? Oh, as long as you're happy, mate. Yeah. Can I tell you one other thing that's been grinding my gears a little bit?
Go on.
Look, the most brutal thing that happened to New Zealand rugby fans last year was losing the World Cup final.
Okay.
It was a hard thing to watch.
Right.
It was a hard thing to experience.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Nobody likes losing a World Cup final.
It sucked.
It does suck.
And one of the worst bits about losing a World Cup final is watching the other team receive their flowers, right?
Receive their flowers.
Yeah. You know, they're awarding. There's the ceremony.
Okay.
You know, they
The medals and shit.
Yeah, well, yeah, just
Okay.
basking in the glory and all
Right.
that sort of stuff,
Okay.
right? The good thing about sport, the other team celebrates for a little bit, forget about it. It's next weekend. Not so much the case for the World Cup.
Okay.
You know, and this is just my own pettiness, but this whole chasing the sun shit, which I refuse to watch, it's been like the rugby internet has just been an ongoing fucking victory lap for the South African rugby team, and I'm just sitting there going, "Ah!
Yeah.
Stop it, you won, we're dead already, leave us, just stop it."
Yeah.
Stop! You won by 1 point. Yes, we know. You won by 1 point 3 weeks in a row. Yes.
It's an interesting one
Just
because
stop. Just leave it.
I watched the first episode, right?
Yeah.
And I did a review of that episode, and that did really
Yeah.
well.
No,
Lots
but
of people
I'm
watched
petty
it.
as like
But-
I'm petty as. But we
and
lost.
then, like, while I was gone, I was still on YouTube a little bit. I mean, it wasn't much because I was out trying to travel. But every rugby channel under the sun was doing Chasing the Sun.
Yes.
Egg Chasers was doing Under the Sun. Wildcard was doing
Under the
Chasing the
Sun.
Sun. Jim Hamilton was doing Chasing the Sun.
And they were getting,
getting
giant views. And
Yeah.
I released my Hateful Heath from Hutley that week.
bagging Chasing the Sun. One comment I got.
Mine died.
I think on our
Mine
last
died
podcast,
and they all fucking went rocketed.
on our last podcast, I think I asked you if you'd watched it, and you were like, "Fuck that! I'm not watching that."
Why
shit.
would I want to watch
and
that?
one of the like a lot of the South African viewers, I think, gave you a bit of shit for it. Like,
Yeah,
fuck
yeah,
you, it's
bring
a
it
cool
on. I
show.
got a lot of
One guy was like, "Oh, fair enough. I wouldn't watch fucking Under the Cloud or something if New Zealand had won it.
Yeah,
like, I don't want to see that
yeah,
shit."
yeah,
Which I
exactly,
think
yeah.
is understandable.
Yeah, 100%. And I think if we had...
I like watching it because I just like, I watch like any fucking rugby documentary.
If we got bundled out in the quarters or something like that, I might.
It wouldn't be as bad, right.
But
You might be
the
able to
way
watch
we
it.
lost, like, not that we deserve to win. They deserve to win. Yes, you won. You deserve to win. You won the game, and and it's just me being petty. By all means,
You just don't want to relive those moments.
it's just been painful. It's just been like,
Yeah.
oh gosh,
Yeah.
Can we just? I feel like I need to get round low. To
Oh, he was reviewing it as well. He was
Yeah.
reviewing it as well. That's what I mean. All my YouTube suggestions were just like, more Chasing the Sun, Mark.
I know.
And people were actually asking me, hey, where's your review of episode 2? I'm like, I'm on holiday, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Everyone's been so positive about rugby and love and
Yeah.
stuff and, conquering
Yeah.
all evil. And it's the most
Yeah.
important thing in the flipping world.
I
And
genuinely
I was
like
like,
it,
I'm just
though.
gonna
It's
talk-
just a really well-made show.
I'm just gonna dig right into it.
Yeah, I can understand
a rural,
why.
hateful guy
Yeah, exactly.
talking shit.
I can understand why it's not your cup of tea. But
Yeah.
I watched the Netflix one. I watched Chasing the Sun. Did you watch the referees one that was on Rugby Pass? Whistleblowers?
No.
I watched that. I watch all the rugby documentaries.
I know. Did you watch the one that I wanted to watch, which I haven't, which I can't find? Is the Stan Sport one about the Australian?
Yeah,
rugby
that
team.
one's only on Stan Sport. I couldn't find that either.
Yeah, I would have liked to have watched that. Because it's traffic jam,
drama.
traffic jam.
Yeah, it's a car crash. Watching a car crash.
Traffic jam.
Get the fuck out of the way.
Oh God, I'm late for work.
That's fucking Eddie. Get out of the way, Eddie, you bastard. Light's
We're not
green.
going for the croissants. Yeah. So that's what's been getting on my wick of late, and the Super Rugby format. But yes, congratulations. Now I have to justify it by saying once again, congratulations, South Africa. I'm glad you.
I
got
think
this
there's a
victory.
difference
It's great.
between,
it's fantastic.
like,
It's wonderful. I'm
Not
very happy.
wanting to relive the pain of a Rugby World Cup loss
over
and being like,
over again.
bitter about it. It's just, you don't want to. I don't think that's one that needs justifying personally.
Yeah.
If you don't-
Our last video we did, I said some things about scrums.
Right.
I think that there's been a few times we've done this, and I've copped a lot of shit from South
Right.
Africans.
Yeah.
Most recent one we did, I copped so much shit from South African fans.
You don't endear yourself to the South African rugby fans.
I just like running rugby.
And he loves Kurtley Arendse.
I do love Kelly
He loves Caden Moody.
I love lukewarm. I just want to see them with the ball in their hands a little bit more. Yeah, I really do. I think they're a brilliant team, fantastic, wonderful rugby team, and they deserve to win the World Cup final, and it's brilliant. And this is the thing that you do when your intense rivals are victorious. You even when they're not, you take the piss out of each other. That's a big part.
Banter has to be part of the game,
It has to
for
be
sure.
part of it. So don't misconstrue my banter.
People
for
take you too
disrespect.
seriously sometimes. People take you a bit too literally.
Yeah, please don't. That's a bad mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had that happen a little bit with my my other channel, the China channel.
What when you've done your look.
There's 12 values of socialism. People are like, why are you pointing that shit out when I call it like propaganda? They're like, what do you do?
But they don't hear that part of it.
No.
They just hear you're talking about socialism. Do a clap so I can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Plug my other
Do a
channel.
decent clap. So the reason I get them to clap is so I can see a spike.
Spike
so
on
I
the
don't have to
sound
listen
thing.
to this whole podcast.
You need to look for a C-bomb and you need to look for a plug. While I was in China, I did take some more video. I traveled around a bit.
So we've got a good 3 years more of
3 more years worth of content.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And that should
I
be great.
ate a lot of McDonald's and KFC breakfasts. You can buy noodles for breakfast at KFC in China.
Satisfying?
No, not as good as like the noodle shop down the road.
But you went there still.
But I still went there. They do decent coffee.
All right.
I found that interesting that everywhere that sells a mocha is basically like a coffee with a spoonful of Milo in it.
Ah, right.
Only Starbucks did a mocha, which is like, that's actually a mocha. Because I usually drink a mocha because I'm a bitter old bastard and I need a bit of sweetening up.
You have mochas, do you?
Yeah, generally.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. No, I'm not much of a like Americano
I thought
kind
you'd
of
be
guy.
a tall black.
No, God no. I need some sugar.
I thought it was the way you. That's how you like your men, and that's how you like your coffee.
No, that's how I like my men, but it's not how I like my coffee. Yeah.
What do you like? What would be a coffee if it was like Ben Tamiafuna? Like big
Fat black. Big. That doesn't sound right when it comes out of my mouth. That sounds so bad. I'm sorry.
No.
I promise I'm not racist.
I just poked myself in the eye.
I love all people.
Yeah, exactly.
Genuinely.
Yeah, I know you did. We're talking about coffees. Okay. Anyway, look, well, it's good to have you back.
By the way, a Starbucks coffee in China
Yeah, we're still on this.
is 36 RMB, which is like...
What does that mean?
That's
How much is that?
That's like fucking $7 or something. Like
quite expensive.
For 36 RMB, I could buy an entire McDonald's combo. I
Right.
could get a fucking Big Mac combo for that price.
So why is the...
Starbucks is just stupid expensive.
When you're saying, like, if you go to Starbucks, it's almost like a...
It's like a status thing.
Really?
It's like, yeah, fucking drink Starbucks, motherfucker.
And you go to Starbucks here and you're like, it's just...
Yeah, why are you drinking Starbucks?
It's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, the Starbucks here is overpriced too, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But
it's
like
just-
all cafes are kind of overpriced.
I guess a little bit, but yeah.
Or we're just old and we remember the prices from 1995.
Back in my day.
I could get a Coke for 80 cents.
Exactly.
Right.
All right, champ.
Well, you did it. You're back. Welcome
back.
back. Good to have you back, champ. This is like, I'm always, look,
You're reaching.
I'm always,
fucking
get
get
in the middle. I'm always, have you missed your rock climbing?
Yeah.
Rock climb. So now you got your Monday activity.
You know, I went out to a
Gay bar.
a lunch with my
AKA
wife,
Yes.
her 3 high school friends, and one of their husbands.
Yes.
And the husband also went to the same high school as these girls.
Uh-huh.
So they have their conversations.
They're
And
talking about-
I'm on the periphery.
Yes.
Every now and again, they throw me a bone just so I don't look too bored.
Yeah.
And the husband at one point said, "So do you do any exercise, Mark?" And I said, "Well, actually, in the last kind of 6 months, I've been doing a bit of rock climbing." And he said, "That's not exercise." How the fuck can you get up a wall, pull your 100-kilo body up a wall, and not get tired?
Should we role play that?
No.
Okay. Mark. And I don't speak Mandarin, so I'm going to say this in English. Mark. Chap. Do you, oh, my old boy, do you any exercise at any stage? Because you look like shit.
Am I speaking Chinese to you, or am I speaking English?
English.
English. I said, "Oh, I've been rock climbing recently."
Oh, like a child's playground sort of thing?
That's basically what he said. Yeah.
That's because you couldn't really think of anything more physically. Well, no, you could think of something more physically
Yeah.
demanding, but it's a very
But it's not
physically
one that
demanding
you can
thing.
do and like do it lazily.
No,
You know,
certainly
like you
not.
can go for a run and basically just walk and look at your phone the whole time if you want. But
All right, we're just having an off-camera chat on.
Okay.
on
all right, let's go.
camera, Yeah.
Let's go. Let's
All
do
right.
it again. Get it.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, good to be back.
Yeah, good
Love
to see
you, folks.
everybody.
Good to see you.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.